Hello everyone and welcome to Age of Wonders Planetfall. I've been very excited to get into this new game by Triumph Studios and Paradox Interactive, and the day has finally come. This is a grand strategy game that could be compared to Civilization 6, and no doubt many of you are going to be familiar with its predecessor, Age of Wonders 3. But Planetfall also has, and this is where it gets really interesting, Planetfall also has a tactical combat layer similar to XCOM 2. And XCOM 2 is actually one of my favorite games of all time. Things I'm really excited about in Age of Wonders Planetfall is getting immersed in the universe and the lore and learning all we can about it. I want to experience their take on the XCOM inspired combat, and I want to dig in really deep to the customizable skill trees and try to experiment with a bunch of different playstyles over time. This is going to be a playthrough of the campaign, so I'll be watching any and all cinematics, I'll be reading anything there is to read, especially anything that gives us lore, history, or explains game mechanics. And from what little I know, the campaign is going to have us play through a few of the different factions, and should offer a great introduction to gameplay if you're someone like me and you're not incredibly well versed in the Age of Wonders series. Once I have my space legs on, so to speak, I'm planning to stream other scenarios on Twitch, different races, different scenarios, and really dig in, and those videos will probably make their way to this channel as well. All that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into a new campaign, shall we?
The currents of the void shift around me. Follow my voice, my last possession. My name was Empress Carmenia, and I was the last regent of the Star Union. We built a paradise on 1,000 planets, a glistening web strung between the stars. But the cataclysm shattered all, leaving our people stranded and alien to one another. Whoever you are, whatever you have become, it is time to leave this dark age behind and return to the worlds of your ancestors. Uncover our secrets, but heed our mistakes. Forge a new empire, a new age of wonders.
All right. So, there was a Star Union. It existed for a very long time, and then a cataclysm happened that stranded everybody. No more interstellar travel. Very interesting. So, we do have a tutorial here it starts us on. And we are Jack Gelder of the Vanguard race. And he's got Void Tech. So let's read a little bit about the races. The Vanguard consists of rough folk with few ties to society, so the effects of long interstellar travel in cryosleep and the resulting time dilation doesn't matter to them. They have firearms weapons group, laser weapons group, deploy combat drones and turrets, use of propaganda and military force, powerful range units, and weak melee capability. So standard humans, it seems like. Range units, so probably assault rifles, laser rifles. Void Tech warps the laws of physics, allowing the manipulation and teleportation of matter and energy. Command highly mobile units that can teleport and pass through obstacles, create temporal clones of units. Destabilize and decelerate enemies, uses the arc and kinetic damage channels. Okay. Vanguard Assault Equipment, the pack you receive after assault training. This advanced training gives you the following skills. Range Specialist increases damage dealt when using ranged weapons, and Steady Aim increases your accuracy when behind cover. So cover is going to be a part of the tactical combat, which if you're familiar with XCOM 2, again, you'll be familiar with the kinds of combat scenarios we're going to find ourselves in. So this is very good. This pack includes a laser rifle that deals repeated thermal damage, a basic grenade that deals kinetic damage in an area and staggers those hit. Now staggering is important because staggering will take away a move point, an action point, from the enemy for the next turn. We'll talk more about that. We have no background perk, but we have military detachment. A strong military force is always a good idea, so you were sure to recruit extra soldiers to join you on your expedition. You start the game with a larger starting army. And this is all the pre-built stuff they built for the campaign. I can't do a custom commander here. We can change this. I think for now I'm going to leave it on beginner unless that seems incredibly easy. I'm not well versed in the Age of Wonders series before this, so I'm going to leave it here. Hero Resurgence allows the hero to respawn. We're going to leave that on always for now. And we're going to start with the Dolos Minerva. With Dolos Minerva tutorial, a research colony has gone dark. The Vanguard launch a dire rescue mission. So let's go ahead and jump right in.
Commander's personal record. Vanguard LCVP-86 emerged from void space intact. Our destination is a small planet located near to the anomaly in the system. Scans are showing nothing but static from the research outpost below. The distress call we received remains the only sign of life.
Now the tactical aspects of this game and the planning and the strategy is going to be really deep, obviously, for anyone familiar with the genre, but I'm also interested in really getting into the lore and experiencing the world that they've built, the universe that they've built, and to find out everything we can about this universe and the characters who inhabit it. So we have a distress call. We're going to go see if we can find any signs of life. Let's go.
The void anomaly looms over the planet like a dark omen. These scientists must have been mad to study the phenomenon from this close. But it's not for me to question their motives. We're here to secure a foothold, search for any survivors, and investigate what happened. Prepare for Planetfall.
And the fog of war begins to part. I like it.
Welcome, Commander. I am Ava, your autonomous integrated virtual assistant.
Of course.
Standard issue for every planetary governor of the Star Union. My messages will appear when important actions are undertaken for the first time. They can be reviewed at any time in the Imperial Archives.
Okay, the diamond icon and color will assist in early decisions by recommending certain choices to direct the development of your starting empire. You can pan the camera. Yep, we know how to do all that, so camera controls are WASDA. It's basically what I'll be relying on. Planetfall successful, Commander, powering up base colony systems. Good, there's no time to waste. We'll start by setting up and expanding this colony. Start a surface scan for survivors and existing colony infrastructure. Inform me when our search systems are online. Yes, Commander, recalibrating sensors and initiating surface scan. A biodome has been located nearby, but there are no signs of survivors. Continue scanning the planet's surface. If there are any survivors on this world, I want to know about it. I'll scout the adjacent sectors and investigate the biodome. It should contain supplies that will help us expand the colony. Okay, searching for survivors. Select your army and explore the nearby sector. Locate and investigate the overgrown biome. Hint, you can see your progress in your currently active quest in the objectives interface. Okay, and then these are going to be our rewards. We're going to talk a little bit about the resources in a second here. So you'll notice up at the top we have 4 different resources tracked here. We have energy, which is basically going to be our money. It's our income that we're going to spend for a lot of things in the game. We have Cosmite. This rare material originates beyond the void and is required for advanced units and unit modules. We have Knowledge. Knowledge is used to rediscover and apply the lost technologies of the Star Union. It affects how quickly you research new society and military trees. So we're going to have 2 trees that we're going to be researching through, and science is going to affect how quickly we can get those upgrades. And then we have Influence, which is also a kind of currency that we're going to spend. Influence is the diplomatic currency used to manipulate other players and NPC factions. It can be used for things like asking NPCs to move off of locations, hiring NPC mercenaries, and making diplomatic pronouncements.
This is an army. Armies contain up to 6 units on a single hex and are used to explore the world, attack enemy armies, and defend colonies.
She's probably going to explain most of that, actually. So selecting a unit's portrait in the army panel will display its abilities.
To move an army, select it, and then move the cursor to the hex you want it to go to. A preview of the route is shown, with a blue path to indicate how far the army can move this turn.
Very basic stuff.
This is the colony interface. It allows you to inspect and control your settlements on this planet. The tabs at the top left cycle through the production and colonist options. Under this colony's name, you can see the amount of each resource this colony generates. A description and a breakdown of the colony's income can be found in the tooltips of each resource. The currently selected colony tab is Unit Production. All units available for construction are listed here.
The tutorial really does a good job of explaining everything. We did read about Cosmite, how units will cost energy to build, and the higher tier ones also need Cosmite. And we're going to talk about some of this as well. So first click, we select our hero or our unit, and then the second click gets you to the colony beneath it. So this being our main city, we're going to do our production
This
here
is the
for now.
Structure Production tab. Colony structures can be built from here to unlock new units, strengthen the economy, and bolster the colony's defenses.
Some structures have an energy upkeep that is paid each turn. And so it's recommending here, we know the diamond means that they're making a recommendation. It's recommending that the first thing we build here under structures is the Central Replicator Factory. Now these ones that are called Central, we can only have one of these per city. So once we have, if we choose to go with this replicator, which is going to provide us production, we can't have any of these other ones. So a miniature factory that provides a boost to newly settled colonies' production capabilities provides 15 production. Now production's important, but really everything's important. If we look at the central biofarm, it's going to give us the plus 15 to food. And food is a resource used within the city to maintain the colonists. Science lab would give us plus 10 tech. I think we're just going to do what it suggests, and we're going to go with the replicator factory for increased production.
Units and structures can be built in a colony by selecting the Produce option, which places them in the production queue.
When something is added to the production queue, the energy and cosmite cost is paid immediately, and the production cost is subtracted at the end of each turn based on the colony's production income. And so we have it in queue. It's going to take 2 turns for this to actually be finished. And we can add other things to the queue as well. We can't add 2 of the same category. But if we also wanted to produce another unit, if we wanted to build, say, another trooper, we could do that, and it would go into queue right behind the central replicator factory. Let's go ahead and do as they suggest and select our units and move them over here towards this enemy location. It seems it's a search for survivors, but we can clearly see there seems to be an enemy on the map.
When all suggested actions from the task notifier above the minimap have been handled, the option will automatically change to End Turn. Ending the turn will prevent you from taking any further actions until your next turn, unless you are attacked.
Since you've moved your units and started production in your colony, no more actions can be undertaken, so all that's left is to end the turn. Colony production facilities are currently idle, Commander. I recommend we start building the central... We did this. I guess we got to it before they thought we would. Let's make sure that it is still in queue, so yeah, it's...
The Sector Production tab lists the structures that can be built in any of the province sectors of the colony.
We don't have any province sectors. We'll talk about that when we actually have some, so... Let's go ahead and just end our turn. We don't have any other armies we can move. We can go ahead and take a look
Heroes
at
are
each
special
unit.
units that lead your armies. Commander, you are also represented as a hero on the map.
As heroes level up, they gain upgrade points that can be spent to unlock unique hero abilities using this interface. Many hero abilities buff the entire army they are leading. Next to unit mods, heroes have the ability to wield legendary hero items that can be found while exploring the strategic map. I think this is really cool because it really has a strong RPG element. with our hero characters. We can have more than one hero character, and they can do things like wield the legendary equipment. I believe they can also pilot vehicles, and they have mod slots.
Mods allow you to improve your units later in the game, and allow you to adapt your arsenal to ever-evolving threats.
So the regular units have mods as well. We could take a look at what we have in this army. So besides our Commander Jack,
this is the unit panel, where all the information on a unit can be viewed, including their active and passive abilities in the list on the left side. Units can have different roles in combat.
Core units are a race as scouts and baseline infantry. Skirmisher units are focused on dealing damage. Specialist units have non-damaging support abilities in addition to their attacks. Elite units are higher tier units that have strong damage and support abilities. A colony can only produce skirmishers, specialists, and elite units if it has built special unit unlock structures. So there will be military structures that we need to build and upgrade in order to build higher tier units or different types of units like these specialists and elites. But yeah, we can select any of our troops here and we can see what their abilities are. So for instance, our assault bike has the focus laser array, and that's a single action. It has 5 range, which is indicated by the blue hexagon there, and it can deal up to 18 damage. Fire a focus laser shot at a distant target. The shot will knock back light units. So it also has high impact stagger. So stagger again, if we hit somebody with a stagger, they're going to lose an action point for next turn. It also has the wide field laser array. Fire a flurry of laser fire at an area in front of the unit, dealing significant damage. So that's going to be a range of 1, but it's right in front of the unit. That's also going to come with a chance to stagger. Other things it has, naturally it has psionic resistance. It has stagger resistance, but it has arc weakness. It has exposed flanks. It's a heavy unit. So this is where we're going to find all the information about all the units, health, armor. Let's check out our troopers. So these are the run-of-the-mill trooper. Basically the cannon fodder, but also probably the most reliable units for baseline damage. We have the assault rifle with 7 range. This is a repeating weapon. So if we choose to stay stationary and fire this as an action, it's going to fire 3 rounds as indicated by the 3 small dashes next to the large rectangle. If we were to say move once, then we would move once and that would take away one of those small marks, and then we'd only fire twice if we fired twice. If we move to distance 2, then that's going to leave us with only 1 shot. We'll see how that works. The grenade. We're going to throw a grenade. It's going to have a 1 hex radius. This has the high impact stagger. And demolish, 200% additional damage to obstacles. So if we need to blow something up, if enemies are embedded behind cover, this is great. Also, the great thing about these guys is they have Overwatch. This unit can enter Overwatch, allowing it to automatically fire at any enemy that moves or attacks within its field of view. So we'll select Overwatch, we'll set the field of view, and if the enemy moves up into that field of view, we will get a shot at them. So Overwatch is great. It's going to be very interesting to play around with that, and I don't believe that every unit has it. I believe it's just ones that have ranged weapons like the assault rifles, sniper rifles, and things like that. So this is as far as we can move. We're going to end our turn now.
The task notifier shows actions available during the current turn, as well as urgent matters that require attention.
Selecting a message from the task notifier will either center the camera on the relevant location or open the relevant interface. So yeah, we can click Commander. Our laboratories have come online and research is now available. We can begin researching technologies to unlock new deployments to help us on this planet. So during the first turn we couldn't research in either of our 2 trees, but now we can. Excellent. What do you suggest we start with considering our mission parameters? For military research, it is recommended to start with nanite support to provide our troops with extra protection and unlock battlefield support operations. For society research, so these are the 2 trees, military and society. For society research, it is recommended to start with frontier facilities to unlock basic infrastructure upgrades for our colony.
Welcome to the Research Center, Commander. Here we allocate knowledge to rediscover the technologies of the Star Union and search for new frontiers.
So military research concerns unit unlocks, unit modifications, and military operations. Society research deals with economic development, governmental doctrines, and covert operations. Knowledge is applied to both types of research equally at the end of each turn. Higher tier research is locked behind prerequisites denoted by the white lines on the research tree.
Military research concerns unit unlocks, unit mods, and military operations.
It is divided into 3 categories. Racial research includes all of that race's unit unlocks, including defensive mods, tactical operations, and strategic operations. Weapon technologies unlock offensive mods and tactical operations. Secret technology paths unlock units, mods, and operations with unique mechanics. Alright, so let's take a look. They suggested nanite support, as we can still see here. That's going to give us 3 different things. We're going to have nanite injectors. This is a tier 1 defense mod that we can put into our units. Use nanite injectors to heal this unit for 15 and increase its resistance to all damage channels by 3 for 2 turns. Can only be used once per battle. Additionally, this mod grants the unit +1 armor. This seems like it's essential, just to give us survivability, and that heal is probably going to be very clutch. We also get nanite support station. This is a tier 1 tactical operation. Drops a nanite support station onto the battlefield. The nanite support station has a built-in blur field which gives obscured to all adjacent units. In addition, the station heals all adjacent friendly units for 10 at the start of each turn. The nanite support station is destroyable. Also seems very good. And then we have combat assist systems. Also tactical operation. So the tactical operations are like casting a spell, in a way, as you'll see. And this one sends a CAS drone to assist target unit. The drone purges any negative status effects and provides 2, I believe it's not armor, 2 shielding, while it is active for up to 3 turns. So let's go ahead and grab this. We're going to start research on it, and it is going to take 4 turns for this to be complete. When it's complete, it's going to notify us.
Society research concerns economic development, governmental policies, and espionage.
And it's divided into 3 categories. Doctrine research concerns governmental policies to steer your empire. Economy research focuses on the development of your colonies, allowing for exploitation of the terrain and happiness of your population. Operations research unlocks special covert operations that can be used to spy on other players, as well as options to increase operation effectiveness. Okay, so they suggested frontier facilities. I'm inclined to agree. We're going to have the ability to create a recreational dome in our city, which is going to be essential to maintaining happiness. Right now we're neutral, which is good. It's also going to give us the standard military infrastructure, upgrades the colony militia army to include more powerful units, and it's going to give us the colonizer. So the colonizer is what we actually need to build new cities, not just connecting another part of the map to our current city and annexing it, but actually building a new city. We'll need the colonizer. Let's grab this, and this one's going to take 4 turns as well. Alright, so that's our research done. Now I think we can go ahead and approach. There are no survivors here. It looks like the structure was overrun by critters. We must reclaim this biodome and annex its sector to our colony. This will expand our domain and increase our supplies. We do not have enough colonists to control additional sectors yet, Commander. We will need additional food to allow the colony to grow. Larger colonies can sustain more province sectors. I want to establish our foothold here as quickly as possible. We can recover extra food from the overgrown biodome after we clear out the wildlife. Okay, so we're going to clear these guys out of here. And then we are going to hopefully plop down or annex this and be able to harvest some food from this sector. Right here we can see that our army's attack power is much higher than the defenders, so this is going to be probably a pretty easy one. And that's a good thing to look at whenever you're going into combat, is take a look at the army power.
The battle has started, Commander.
Beautiful.
The defending army always gets to act first, followed by the attackers.
Tactical operations can be launched during combat as support, although they are disabled during this first turn. So those were some of the spells we were looking at that we can learn from our research, the tactical operations.
During a combat turn, each unit has 3 action points to spend on using their abilities, which can cost between 1 and 3 action points. Regardless of cost, using an ability always ends the unit's turn.
Every unit also has move points, and using these move points will leave a unit with fewer action points to spend. The tactical movement colors on the ground indicate how many action points the unit will have left after moving there. The red overlay on the ground means the unit will be left with no action points after movement.
Commanders and heroes are some of the strongest units in any army, capable of wielding a variety of powerful weapons and even piloting vehicles. They level up as they gain experience, allowing them to unlock new abilities and buffs.
If a commander is defeated in combat, they will return to their faction's headquarters after a certain number of turns. Heroes do not have this special protection. So Jack here, he'd probably respawn, but if we had another hero unit with us who had joined us, they would not respawn. So right now we have Jack selected. Let's go ahead and zoom in and we can get a look at our guys. We can pan the camera around with E or Q and kind of get a good look at them here. And so within the green area, movement is actually free, so you can inch up a little bit within the green area, and that's not going to take up any of your action points, which are the blue markers below your health bar. Within the light blue area, that's going to be 1 movement. Within the dark blue area, that's 2 movement, 2 action points, and then like they said, in the red, that's going to eat up all of your points, and that's going to allow you're not going to be able to do anything else. So we're going to get behind a little bit of cover and just inch our guys up slowly here.
A friendly unit has moved into cover.
We have.
Cover protects the unit by making it harder for enemies to hit them with abilities. Cover is directional and only protects against attacks if it is between the targeted unit and the enemy.
Some units are too large to use cover, but they can be used as cover by other smaller units. That would be like if you had a big vehicle like a tank or something might apply. Throughout the combat map, there are also large obstacles that block line of sight, allowing units hiding behind them to avoid being targeted altogether. So line of sight is important. Getting into cover is probably going to be absolutely critical. And from here, we don't have a shot. You'll notice though that if I hold my move cursor out here as if I were to take another move, that around the skull denoting the enemy ahead of us, 4 little spikes in red have now surrounded the enemy. That's indicating that if I move to this position I have targeted, I would have a bad chance at landing a shot. If it were yellow, that would be an okay chance at a shot. If it were green, that would be a great shot. I have no shot. I'm going to hunker down here, and I'm actually going to use Overwatch.
Some units with ranged attacks can enter Overwatch. While in Overwatch mode, the unit will have a red eye icon above its head. This unit will fire its primary ranged attack at any enemy unit that moves or uses an ability on a hex within this unit's field of view.
Overwatch can only trigger once per unit, and if a unit using Overwatch is staggered, the Overwatch mode is cancelled. So any of those things that stagger, like if they were to toss a grenade at us and it were to hit, that would knock me out of Overwatch. Let's go ahead though, so we're going to select, I'm going to angle more this way.
Each unit has active abilities that they can use during combat. Next to attacks, they have a guard ability, which increases the unit's defenses until the start of their next turn. Guard abilities always cost 1 action point.
The maximum range of the unit's currently selected ability will be displayed using the white line on the battlefield. So you'll notice the white dotted line. That's the extended range of an ability. You can select enemy units to see their abilities also.
Try moving your units forward to form a gun line, Commander.
Okay.
There are several nearby obstacles that your Vanguard troopers can take cover behind. Symbolized.
We got that part. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're primarily going to try to inch forward and draw these guys out. So we can take a look at exactly what we're up against here. It looks like a couple of alien bugs. Hopperhound Manhunter. These guys... Let's read their little descriptions. I'm interested in things like this. I remember the first year in Sundew Valley in the farming colony. The rich soil and favorable climate made life ideal for growing crops. Our community grew strong as we lived our happy lives, one bounteous harvest after the next. We prospered for a decade, spreading out over the valley until something wicked awoke in Hopper Hill, a manhunter. Green and covered in spines, its legs were scythes, leaping across our fields. Cares nothing for our crops. It hungers for the men who cultivate the land. We are its crop. Patchy Maz, RV 6988D, the surrender of Sundew Valley. Very sad. That's pretty cool. I like these little stories or descriptions about the creature. I think that's a really nice touch. So their melee, it looks like, they have this repeating claw strike. So we don't want them to be standing right next to us and get all these hits off. It can also stagger and bypasses all shield. And then they have an air leap, which has a range of 3. So the unit, he leaps into the air, damaging any flying units before landing behind them. I'm assuming this could also... Oh, here's combat jump. Jump at the target light ground unit, yeah, dealing damage and knocking them back. So this one's for air units, and the combat jump is going to jump on ground units, knocking them back. Okay, good to know. And what else do they have? They just have these other guys back here. Mega Beetle Baby. The numbskulls at Terratech thought to use these beetle creatures as beasts of burden for low-tech colonization. Fools. Their specimens were juveniles. These profit-driven middle managers moved to market so fast, and with so little scientific oversight, they'd infested hundreds of worlds with insectoid juggernaut offspring before realizing their mistake. All because anything that's alien sells. You can't just file off a creature's mandibles and change its nature. The beetle pulpi still explode if they die. And what happens when Beetle Baby becomes Beetle Adult? Professor R. Lynn L. Bunsen, RV 1815, SETI Alpha Outpost recordings. These guys have a spit attack. That's the first thing that I see here. Spit a biochemical agent at the target unit. Poison 4. Strength chance 4 against strength chance to apply poison. Or 4 strength chance to apply poison to biological or cyborg targets. So that sounds bad. That's a spit. And then they have the melee pincer attack. High impact stagger units. Again, gets 3 attacks unless they've had to move to get into position. Alright, I think we can take these guys on just fine. Not too worried. As for the bike, let's go ahead and kind of bring him wide. I want to see if we can draw any of these guys out without necessarily getting too close. Let's put you up here behind some cover. And you can overwatch as well. That's perfect. I love the Overwatch. I think this is going to be very helpful to have. I don't know that every race has as many units with Overwatch, but these Vanguard definitely seem to be heavily assault rifle focused, to start at least. I don't typically want to put him out in the open, but it's okay. I don't know if he can get to us, but we're going to Overwatch anyway. We're going to have this guy go into defensive mode. This unit ends its turn and goes into a defensive mode. It becomes 25% harder to hit and cannot be flanked. This unit is staggered. The defensive mode is cancelled. So let's go ahead and we'll do that. And that's all we could do. We're going to end our turn and then see what they do. We outpower them by quite a bit, so difficulty level could probably ramp up. If we get in here, it's going to give us a bad shot, which is not great. I wonder if it's worth even exposing our hero. Let's keep him back a little bit. Right there sounds good. And we'll just have him Overwatch again. Same thing here. Like, I can move these guys up and get them into range for poor shots, but I'd rather just kind of hang back and see if we can keep drawing them to us. That's like just really not good coverage here in this area. Let's move him up. He's probably going to get attacked if I had to say, but hopefully his Overwatch will hit. We'll have this guy do the same thing. And we'll have him kind of move around to flank and see what happens as a result of that. These guys can move up. That's perfect. Let's see what they do. Triggered the Overwatch.
Most abilities that are used on enemy units have an accuracy rating, which is the chance that the ability hits the intended target.
This is true. If an ability misses, it will either strike another target or do nothing at all. Some abilities can also graze, meaning that the ability affected its target but with reduced strength. So you saw that one was a graze. Okay, this guy is creeping around the side. We don't have line of sight from here. If we move over, we have an okay shot as indicated by the yellow pincers surrounding the target icon. Let's go ahead and slide him over and we'll see what kind of shot we have. So we have a 60% chance to hit him. I believe the chance to graze is a little bit higher than the displayed percentage, which is for a full hit. Let's go ahead and take this shot and see. If he were to get right in tight next to this red barrel here, we could actually blow this up. It's destructible. But right now it wouldn't do us any good. I can get him in here really tight and we could take another shot. I could stay back here and take a really bad shot. I could stay here and I could overwatch. And that might in fact be what I have them do. They have only a 30% chance. They have a 50% chance. They must be burrowed in. And you guys have a terrible chance, despite your proximity. Let's just bring him up. It's not like they can harm us. Well, they're gonna hurt us, but I think we got this well in hand. We just have so many more units. Let's take a couple shots and see if we get lucky.
Enemy neutralized.
Which we do, so. Let's go ahead and have him overwatch. And we'll do the same thing here. And we'll end the turn. He's gonna do the spit, I'm sure. And that's fine. 95% chance.
Enemy eliminated.
And that's combat.
They never stood a chance.
They never stood a chance. That's totally true. Now, eventually the game will give us the ability to do manual combat or auto combat, and when you get to an encounter that's this overbalanced, doing the auto option might not be a bad idea. The thing that scares me about the automatic battles is that sometimes it might sacrifice one of your units to win, and I'd rather not lose any units if we can avoid it. Commander, our colony has now grown big enough to support an additional sector. I recommend annexing the sector which contains the biodome, as this will add food income to your colony. Good, we'll annex the sector to our colony and provide as a province sector so we can start exploiting the land for resources as soon as possible. We're going to take that reward of food
completed.
And take this reward of science and food. Okay, and then we have to expand our colony. We have to come in here and we're going to grab this sector.
Planets are divided into geographical sectors that contain natural resources or valuable remnants of the Star Union. Sectors can be settled with colonizers or annexed as provinces to existing colonies by interacting with the central sector map marker.
The sector analysis panel on the right shows an analysis of its features and any locations present there. Actions available to take within the sector are listed in the bottom panel. So right now we want to annex it. It's gonna open up some food and science for us, and we get the overgrown biodome, which is gonna give us plus 10 food production. So let's go ahead and annex it. Oh, we have to click OK
Sectors
to the
usually
tutorial.
have both a climb and a terrain feature that determine their economic potential.
In addition, sectors can contain locations such as resource nodes, visit sites, and hazards. which can add economic or strategic value to the sector. They can also affect the sector in other ways, such as weakening units that pass through or causing special effects to occur during battles.
To make your colonies thrive, sectors need to be annexed to colony centers. This turns them into province sectors that add income to their parent colony once they are further developed.
Okay, let's get to it. Let's go ahead and annex this, and we'll show you what happens after you get it successfully annexed in the next turn. Service scan complete, Commander. I am picking up a Vanguard military signal nearby. This could signify the presence of survivors on the planets. Bring it up on scanners. Let's find out what the hell is going on here. Alright, familiar signals. Locate the Vanguard military signal in the nearby sector. So we have to make our way over here and investigate. And that's going to be our next objective. Anything we want to do back home, we are still trying to get our central replicator factory up and running. And I don't know that we really need anything else.
The Colonist tab lists details of the
go.
colony's growth and happiness. The colony's output can be fine-tuned by assigning colonists to resource slots.
Okay, so we can see our current population is 5. We have a turn until the next colonist arrives, so we're going to get a colonist every turn right now. We have a maximum population currently of 16, however. So right now our happiness is good. We can actually manage what we want people working on. So if we had an energy crisis, we could turn this off auto, and we could actually, well, maybe it won't let me right now. Eventually we'll be able to manage this. Oh, there we go. So we could turn it off auto, and then we could move people around. So if I needed more people on energy, I could do that. Right now I'm fine leaving it on automatic, but we'll probably be micromanaging that in the future. Let's go ahead and make our way over here. We're not going to get there in one turn. So let's go ahead and end our turn.
You have just annexed a sector,
We
and
did.
it can now be exploited for one of the main resources. Ideally, the chosen exploitation type matches the terrain and climb features of the sector for future leveling potential.
You can set an exploitation via the Colony Center interface. I'm going to show you guys this instead of reading that. Commander, that sector has been successfully annexed to our colony and is now considered a province sector. Alright. So they're recommending we go with agriculture, and that is probably a good idea. It usually recommends...
completed.
Okay. It usually does make good recommendations. And so you can see the extent of this city here, which they named Oosterville. We could change that. It extends into what we have annexed. So these are the different sectors, and each one of them has a correspondent amount of resources. Food seems pretty plentiful here. Actually, everything is really well balanced. They have production in every one, science, and they have everyone but the fungal habitat has power, so... Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to the city. And we can now exploit that. So we're going to look at the fungal habitats. That's the sector we just annexed, and this is what they're recommending. But we could do anything. We could do energy. But we'll go ahead and go along with what they have suggested and do agriculture exploitation. And that's because the biodome is there. When the biodome is there, they're going to get an additional 5 food when we're doing the agriculture exploitation. So it behooves us to go with the suggestion because we're going to get that additional 5 food just by having the biodome in this annexed area.
Quantum-powered molecular machines are not magic, they're science. But the uncertainty principle dictates that if I explain to you exactly how it works, it'll stop working that way. So just trust me. It's not magic.
I like
it's
that.
just probabilistic,
If I
quantum
explain to you-
state-driven subatomic machines.
If I explain to you how it
Stanley
works, it'll stop
Strangelove,
working.
publicist, Small Tech Enterprises.
Fair enough. So we have our mods now, which is great. And we can check some of these out. Let's select new research though, so we keep going. We can go up here into the Vanguard specific. So within the military, like it said, we have the Vanguard tree, the laser tree, the firearms tree, and then we chose Void Tech. And so we have the Void Tech tree. Let's go ahead up and go up here and check out Engineering Core. We can unlock a tier 2 unit, an engineer. They have a shotgun. They can place gun turrets, repair tools, targeting calibration, okay, they're biological light unit. Let's go ahead and research this next. I like the idea of bolstering our units and our army early on, just in case we run into any baddies who don't want to be diplomatic. And frontier facilities also finished.
Our colonies require the means to protect themselves and a reason to stay. At the very least, it's time to invest in some good old-fashioned guns and beer.
And then for society, if there were a lot of water around, we can go right into aquatic development, which lets us build bases on water and coastal sectors. It allows us to embark units to travel across the water. And it allows us to do the river crossing. This unit has been trained in crossing rivers and does so at a greatly reduced move point cost. Not a lot of water around, so we probably will just continue into food development, which gives +1 level to all food sectors. Raising the sector level of a sector will increase the benefit from sector exploitations. It's going to give us bioengineered food plantation, which is a tier 2 sector upgrade. Advanced bioengineering can create superfoods that have a beneficial effect on colonist biology and the growth rate of the colony. At higher levels, your colonists will need less food as upkeep. That just seems like it's the gift that keeps giving. Less upkeep. And then Agriculture Export Center. A dedicated Agriculture Export Center is vital for the efficient distribution of food to other colonies. At higher levels, increased food yields can be achieved by organized effort towards food production. So that allows sharing food among your different cities that you build, as opposed to it being all inside that city, I believe. So that sounds good. Anything else we have going on? I don't believe so. We are just going to go ahead and see what's happening over here. Lieutenant Yang, what the hell are you doing on this rock? Last I heard, you were stationed on Levy 6. Commander Jack Gelder, I require your immediate assistance. Our settlement is overrun with hopper hounds, and we need help fighting them off. We are sending you blueprints for some weapon modifications. Let's burn these bugs down. Received, Lieutenant. We'll make quick work of these bugs. Commander, before engaging in battle, we should mod our units to make them more combat effective. Select our army and inspect units in the army panel. We know how to do this. Let's check it out.
Objective completed.
Hopperhound Troubles. Yep, we're going to accept that quest. We're going to go into our army panel and see what kind of mods we can go with here. Let's check out our hero first. We can give him the incinerator module. Our laser weapons have an 8 strength chance to set the target on fire. Why not? And we can give him the nanite injectors, which will heal the unit for 15. We can use that once a battle. Additionally, it's going to grant 1 armor, so we're going to put that on. And it's going to cost us. So this is where our cost might comes into play. This is where our power comes into play. It's going to be 32 energy and 16 cost might to do this loadout. We don't have any skill points right now. Let's check out our other units. I definitely want to give them the nanite injectors.
Once mods have been assigned to a unit, a new template needs to be made for the modified unit.
Every template is unique with its own name and icon, and changing the mod on a unit with an existing template will prompt the creation of a new template for that unit. A template can also be used to simultaneously upgrade all units of the same type. So this is basically going to change its name so that if we want to in the future from our base, we'll be able to build an assault bike with the nanite injector, and it will be called this. Stim fueled and then assault bike. Let's just go ahead and go with their default name. I think that's perfectly fine. And then for these guys, we can give them the flechette ammunition. Allows the unit to fire flechette ammunition, which has an 8 chance to inflict bleeding on cyborg and biological units. Yeah, bleeding is good. And we can give them this. I don't think we can do that for all of them, though, because we're not going to have the cost might. It would be 80 to mod them all that way. Maybe we just do just the flechette for some of them. Let's do this. Hardy, okay. Let's do 2 of them like this. And can we get 2 of them with both? Revitalized. There we go. Okay, we have all of our guys modded out. I think we might be ready to engage this quest. The question is, are we going to be able to do combat this round or next? No, it's going to have to be next.
Events listed in the right side of the screen are significant developments that happen during the course of a game.
We've seen those.
Sector annexed.
Alright, I believe now it is time.
When engaging an army in combat, all armies adjacent to the defending army that are allied to either the defending army or the attacking army are drawn into combat as well.
This means that up to 42 units can potentially join the same battle, and that one side can have a numbers advantage over the other. Prior to the start of combat, a special combat preview is shown all armies that will be engaged. And so what that means is we initiated the combat with him here, but she was adjoining over here, and so we pulled her in and her squad into the combat as well. So that's really cool, and what they say about it being a numbers game is probably really true. Because of the army power that we're tracking, we can see that we have a definite advantage over them in this battle. Probably a good reason to ramp up the difficulty. Looks like more bugs. We can expect probably leaping slash attacks. We know these guys spit, so we've seen these units before. These look like a different variety. Yep, they have the same attacks. They might be a little buffer. These are the blade maws. The bright red carapace clicked. It inched backwards against the cliff wall. It was the largest hopperhound we'd seen in generations. Long bloody slashes adorned the few remaining hunting dogs that brayed at it. Townsfolk closed in, raising their rifles for the kill. The first shot cracked the air, but the huge red hopper was already gone. It leapt over the dogs and encroaching villagers. Striking a soldier, the man fell flat, dropping his weapon, as the creature's razor-sharp claws stabbed at him. Brian Froden, RV-3480E, hunting bugs on the frontier. Sounds like a bad profession to have. Unless you're in a group the size of ours. What do we want to do with the motorcycle? See, we're so split up, we could probably just cause them to split their forces too. That might be prudent. That gets me in range to attack, but probably also gets me in range to be attacked. I'm gonna inch up over this way. I'm worried about putting this guy that far out there. Let's just put him back here. And we will overwatch this area here. Same thing with this guy. We'll move him up a little bit, and then I'm just going to have him... I already had him hunker down, didn't I? Meant to have him overwatch. Can we do that? Yes, we can. Okay, there we go. He's going to overwatch. For Jack, we could swing him over to the side, maybe? And he can overwatch this section here. I really just want to draw them in. Okay, so these guys are Vanguard engineers. An engineer's job is never done. Soldiers get their downtime during the slow creep of space travel and cryosleep. I'm the one awakened when there's a slight abnormality in the system diagnostics. The Valkyries were older than me before we started this voyage. They remained blissfully preserved. Now I'm at their senior by a decade. I outfit the hazmat mech suits. I can fix anything. I can erect a laser turret. Once a Void FTL comms failed, then can anyone blame me for having a little fun with the system computers? I don't know. These guys have a shotgun, which is 5 range. They can place a turret, which seems pretty amazing. Depending on what that turret can do, they can use repair tools to heal mechanical or cyborg units. Alright. So they don't have Overwatch. I should have looked at that before committing them, but let's go ahead and have them place a turret. Why not? Hey, that's pretty great. Hey, and the turret can Overwatch, so that's actually amazing. Let's bring her in here, and she can't Overwatch unless she does it without moving. We're gonna have her hunker down. I think there's going to be a lot of Overwatch shots going off. At least I hope that they move up. I hope we can get them to actually move up here. That's a terrible Overwatch.
After the first round of combat, tactical operations can be launched by both sides. Tactical operations can be accessed using the Operations Interface button in the bottom right of the screen.
A player can only launch a tactical operation during their turn, and only one can be launched each turn. Launching tactical operations costs energy and operation points.
Operations available.
So we can go in here, and this is where our operations are at that we can drop during combat. We have quite a few of them. This is the Combat Assistance, the CAS drone. To purge negative effects, we have the Nanite Support Station. We don't have anybody who needs to be healed right now. We could drop a bomb, dealing 12 damage in a 1 hex radius. And we could do a laser strike. So we will hold on to these. I don't know if it's worth it to do any right now. Well, maybe we just do one for the fun of it. Whoops. We could hit these guys back here. We could actually hit all 3 if we target right here.
A unit has been staggered, causing it to lose an action point.
Good, good.
Most melee attacks and explosives will stagger units.
Alright, so that's good. Okay, so these guys literally did not move up at all. They weren't having it. They're not going to be goated. Clearly. Maybe putting some heroes out here at risk will get them to move a little bit. We'll bring some guys in close, because we're going to have to lure them into a move eventually here. Maybe we just go in and take some shots. That ought to get him to react. Same thing with this guy. We have an 80% chance to hit. That's pretty good. And we can't get any decent shots over here, even if we get way too close. Let's just step forward 1, and we'll overwatch. Same thing here. These guys will move up, and they'll still be able to overwatch. And that's it. There's our overwatch in action. There's another overwatch triggered for a great hit. That one missed. That's okay. There's the leap. I knew a hero would pull them out. They went right for the Pray for the hero. A lot of good overwatches taking place.
A unit attacked from the sides or back is considered flanked and takes increased damage. Units in guard mode cannot be flanked.
Quite a hit over there, but we'll see. We might keep him. We might keep him alive. Oh, well, maybe not. Oh, good, they went with a different target. Okay. Now, we don't want to move him out. Everybody gets like a melee overwatch, so if we try to run him from this position, he's just going to get attacked. I'm tempted to try to take these guys out with other units. That should do for him.
Enemy down.
That's a pretty good shot, 85%. And we get those 3 shots
Enemy
because
eliminated.
we didn't move, so we got all 3 assault rifle shots. We need to get some more damage onto that guy. Can we use you to finish this off? 1, 2, 3 shots should do it. There we go.
Enemy neutralized.
And we'll move Jack in and see if we can get a decent shot. That's pretty decent, 80%.
Units with melee attacks will enter melee overwatch at the end of their turn.
Oh, he did get attacked by the melee. So any action will trigger it. Not just movement, but even attacking will trigger it. That's like an opportunity attack from like D&D, basically. I should have realized that even an attack would trigger, but it's okay. We live, we learn. At this point, we just move these guys in. Although standing them right next to the explosive canister probably isn't the best idea. It's gonna be fine.
Unit has fallen.
There they go, they triggered some of our overwatches. Can we get him over here and take a better shot? We definitely can. And that should do it.
Enemy down. Our forces are victorious.
And we have our first victory. We also lost our first unit though, so... Hardy Trooper, sorry that we failed you, but it's okay. Thank you, Commander. You got us out of a bit of a tight spot there. Don't mention it, Lieutenant. Status report. What happened here? A force of Outlanders made Planetfall a few cycles ago and assaulted our positions. Their assault was centered on the Void Tech facility nearby. We fought them off, but we suffered heavy casualties. Any survivors? None on their side, but our colony was burned to the ground during the assault. You are looking at all that remains of my detachment and the colony. Well, that's not good. What a mess. Sorry about your casualties, Lieutenant. What about this Void Tech facility? Why were they after it? I don't know, Commander. All the scientists who knew of the facility perished in the assault. With our colony destroyed, we were unable to annex the landmark to investigate it further. Well, we know what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to annex that landmark. Alright, let's get things back on track. I'll take command here. Pack up your settlement so we can redeploy it and set up a proper colony. Lieutenant Zhang, lead the way to the Void Tech facility.
Objective completed.
Alright, well she let us take control of her command quickly enough. That's good, I guess. Now that you have a new colonizer unit, you can found a second colony. A new colony will expand your domain on this planet and increase your income and economic growth. So that's our next objective, is we do have a colonizer. And we'll have it start making its way over to the observatory. Warning, incoming gravitonic wave in 2.26 seconds. Gravitonic wave? What? What the hell was that? A gravitonic wave passed through the system. Origin unknown. Well, it looks like we're still holding onto our atoms. Status report. Preliminary readings indicate that the void anomaly absorbed most of the gravitonic force, keeping the planet relatively unaffected. For further analysis, I will need to connect to the Void Tech facility. It contains advanced sensors that are attuned to the void anomaly. Alright, we'll move in and get you hooked into the Void Tech facility ASAP. Alright, so something strange is going on in this star system, it seems. Where are we? Here we are. Let's go ahead and move our way in as much as we can, at least.
Objective completed. Production ready.
Alright, we don't need another colonizer right now. We could replace the hardy trooper we lost. We could get a recreational dome going, because that's going to increase the happiness of our people, and we want that. So let's queue that up. And I believe that's it. Okay. Can we move you in? Yes, we can. There are signs of battle all over the structure. Lieutenant Yang, is the facility still operational? The damage you see on the structure is all superficial. All of the heavy fighting occurred on the outskirts. Ava, can you access the facility and use its sensors to see what's happening with the void anomaly? Access to the facility is encrypted, Commander. Establishing a connection will require the Void Tech facility to be annexed to a colony so that I can link directly to their mainframe. We don't have time to lose. We'll find our second colony nearby and annex the sector to it. So they want us to put the colony here. And that's fine. We can do that. And then after that,
Landmarks are
we'll have to
remnants
annex
of
this.
powerful Star Union structures. There are 3 kinds of landmarks: bronze, silver, and gold, with increasing economic value.
Landmarks have an inherent exploitation with gold and silver landmarks automatically counting as a level 5 sector. Landmarks unlock special doctrines and colony structures when they are annexed. Gold and silver landmarks first need to be entered to defeat the guards within, and only a single army can enter the structure and fight its guards. So it's almost like a little dungeon. You go and you have to fight the encounter, and only then can you claim it, if it's a gold or silver. So that's definitely good to know. Where did our transporter go? I don't know where he got off to. Now I don't know if we can create a new colony right next to an existing colony. I guess we can. Found Vanguard colony. Okay, he must have the colonizer in his army group. That's why he's able to do it. Is because when we move them together, the colonizer actually joined it. I could break that back out, but it's fine. Since they're already in the process, let's end our turn.
Objective completed.
And so we have founded our first new colony. And they have named this one Custerville. Fair enough. Do we... and I bet... I wonder if she can annex this yet. We can. We can annex it right away. Sometimes you don't have the population. You have to wait until the city has more population. But we can annex this landmark right away. And then Ava should be able to connect it to our mainframe and whatnot.
Operations available for priming.
Let's go ahead and do that. So access Void Tech archives. Complex is a treasure trove of valuable data. By dedicating researchers to delving the archives, our Void Tech research will benefit greatly. Void Tech is 25% cheaper to research, and Void Tech units cost 20% less to produce. Pretty good, it sounds like. We can go ahead and start that. I guess she can just stay here. I don't see that we have any other objectives. And what do we want to have them working on? I guess we can get a standard military. Oh, we can build one of our central. Let's go with production for this one. We'll do the... No, let's go with food. We went with production for our main city. Let's go with the food for this one. Yeah, I think that's fine. Especially because they have double the food in this sector. So that'll work. And we can actually annex another territory for Oosterville, which we could definitely do. It's gonna be a long walk though. We could come over here and grab this one. Let's do that. Let's not end the turn. Who has points left? Oh, you do. You can come down here. There we go. That's everybody. Okay, that's a little strange. Doesn't want me to end my turn. You guys are good. I'm not sure why it won't let me end my turn. Okay, there we go. Was finally able to end the turn. Had to actually just save and then reload and come back in, and now everything is fine. Establishing database connection. Connection to Void Tech Facility database established. Running analysis of Void Anomaly. Report. What are your findings? The Void Anomaly has started to expand exponentially. There is a 99.07% chance that the planet will be consumed by the anomaly within the next 3 cycles. Is cycles hours? We should leave, Commander. You're darn right, we should. Back up all data from the facility and get everyone evacuated. There is no time to waste. Backup status complete. Planetary escape sectors calculated. Caution. Due to the void disturbance, there is a 33.1% chance of catastrophic failure during gravity well escape. Safety margins need to be overridden before a course can be... Let's go ahead and override. To hell with the safety margins. There's a 100% chance we'll die if we stay. Lock in the escape vectors and get us out of this hellhole. That's it. Victory, guys. Victory over the tutorial. We got it. Alright, what kind of stats do we have? We have our entire event log. That's kind of cool, I guess. You can see the history, total capabilities, total score. Oh, you can move it through the turn order. Oh, I see. Well, that's kind of neat. You can see the timeline of your expansion, basically. Okay, well that's pretty cool. You get some statistics. Not really any battle statistics on your battles or what your units did, but just overall for your colony. That was a really thorough tutorial, so hopefully it didn't get too boring for us. I know that it's probably going to start to pick up a little bit more now. There are still some things we're going to have to explain and talk about as we learn going forward, but yeah, it's a really good tutorial for someone who is completely unattuned with the Age of Wonders games. Maybe you're coming into it totally blind, similar to how I kind of am. And yeah, I thought it was really good. And I'm very hopeful that the rest of the campaign will continue to be as interesting as what I've seen so far. So I hope you guys are enjoying this one too. Let me know any thoughts you have on the game. Let me know what's going on in your own playthroughs if you are also playing the game. Any tips would be good. Again, I'm a new player, so I'm kind of going to learn as I go. And I know some of you guys might have a history with the Age of Wonders series. So I don't want any spoilers, but any tips you have, I definitely welcome tips. So thanks a lot. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this one. I really appreciate the support. Take care, and we'll see you again soon. Bye now.